like it'll almost be a blind. Quiet over here.
Did you hear that? Heard something sound like a whistle over here.
Oh. Man, they're all up in there, ain't they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I'm just getting ready to say, what is that?
I think I remember that from last time.
You know, that's sort of weird. I don't remember it there from last time. It seems weird. Look at all these roads blocked off here.
Get it, Barton.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it now. Three breaks there on these green trees. Yeah, give me some light there. See the green leaves on them. It'll take a little bit to break those. One pointing this way, two pointing into the woods. Yeah, see how strong that is. See if you can break that.
With some effort.
With some effort.
But who's just going to grab it?
Who's just going to break two like that and one right there for no reason?
There's no reason to break it because you was making your way up in these woods. You're not going to go far because it's thick.
Yeah, that's weird.
Baby, do your screen.
All right,
I'm gonna turn that up.
hold the camera.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it in. He's gonna do his screen. This is Bart screaming.
Nothing. Look over in this field,
One to the right too far.
Hello, Tiffany, Megan. Hello, Kevin. Hello, Anna.
Get out of the way.
Hey. I already got you, girl. Don't try to run. I got Jason. If you find close to the water, there's no boat.
What's seeing over there, man? Anything?
Nah.
Shh. I didn't bring my sword, my spear, nothing. Yeah. Oh, shh, shh. We got eye shine. Big animal. I don't want anybody trying to walk across that
No.
bridge. Come up here and film, baby, with your night vision.
Where do you see Ashley?
I'm pointing the light where it was at. That started moving up this way.
It's green.
Green eye shine.
Green amber color, wasn't it?
Yeah. Watch where you're walking. Don't get close to the hole. Remind me of a cat, brother. What did it remind you of?
Yeah.
The way it moved.
Yep.
Is that bridge not safe to walk on, is it?
No, absolutely not.
That's green.
We was hearing whistles back there. That's why we was trying to tell y'all to come back.
Ease back toward the car. I don't have any of my weapons at all. One man with a weapon. So,
As long as he's a good shot. I'm tripping everybody else.
okay, guys. What do you think, War? What was it?
I heard that.
What was it, Jason? What did it sound like?
I don't know, it sounded like something loud over here just now.
Yeah.
Over here.
See what you can see over there.
I am.
Everybody start easing back toward the car. A little film behind it. Hey, hey.
Hold up, y'all.
Nope, it's over here. I hear it. It is definitely over here.
Hey, hold up, y'all.
Trying to get a picture of the bridge, baby. A little faster, a little faster. Something's out here with us, guys, so let's get back to the safety of the car. Ain't yelling back tonight.
No response.
Huh?
No response tonight, Overboard.
I have a mind to get my sword and my spear and my knife and go back. I think the girls, if we do that, the girls should stay here though.
If you're awful close to that hole, if something was to come up through there, you're done for. There's got an orb.
Hey, did you hear that, bro?
What was it?
There's something to the left, like it was like mumbling or across the creek over there.
Hey!
What do you think tore the bark off that tree right there? See that?
Yeah. Look at that branch right there. Look at eye shot again. Like one eye down low. See it? See it, bro? Right between these two trees. Oh, two of them. One between the trees, one on the left. See it? There's just one each.
I ain't picking it up, Lord.
Take your eyes off the camera and look with your eyes. See them? These bugs are eating me up.
Mm-hmm.
See, there's one.
It's a deer. There's a deer standing down there.
There is?
Yeah, I can see him.
All I see is one eye shot.
He's standing right behind these two trees.
Okay, now look to the left.
Okay.
On the left side of the tree, there's another one eye shot. Is that a deer too? Is it shining in my light?
I can't tell. I see it. Yeah, I see him. Now I don't know if it's a deer or not, though. Look. You look down there through the sonics.
Oh, that's a bear.
Do not drop that.
Shine your light.
Is it? I have one. Might not be a deer.
I can't tell what it is.
Keep hearing something out here to the left. I don't think it's a deer.
He hasn't moved, so I don't know. I don't think it's an animal at all. Something reflecting off the bank up there or something.
Take this. Is that a creek down there?
Yes.
Has it got water in it?
Yes. Look. See the mouse? See the mouse?
Yes. Where'd he go?
Down there. Woo! Woo! No way to get across this fucking bridge, so.
Really, Daddy, you just said that when I'm recording. There is
Damn.
There is a way across this bridge.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where?
Up and
I
over.
don't think so. Not for. That is the way across, but not for.
Is this metal beams under it right here? Couldn't we just make sure we stayed on the metal beam?
I don't know, baby.
Along
I
the
wouldn't
edge?
walk across that bridge, y'all.
What was that? Did y'all hear that? Or was that you?
I wouldn't do it, y'all.
I'm not going down.
That's a heck of a drop underneath there, too.
You don't know him now. Look at that path there, bro. See that? Right next to the
There's something
water.
doing this big been going up and down through there.
That's not a deer trail.
Yeah. Hey, you. Wait a minute, bro. Something to the left.
See a bunch of broken sticks in there.
Mm-hmm. There's a trail coming up out of there too, Bart.
Something goes to run up down through there.
Well, I think I like to walk that creek. That's a pretty creek.
Look, that's what's flowing in right there. To your right, honey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Look at these broke sticks here, bro. One right there.
Mm-hmm.
Big one right there.
Yep.
There's a bat. Did you see that? Did you see that bat, honey?
I seen one across. I seen one earlier across.
I guess we head back to the girls. Make sure they're all right.
The girl's fine.
About the girls at the same time, honey.
This is a heck of a trail coming through here, oh
It
Bart.
is. Look here. Now this used to be a popular place, you know it?
Yeah.
How you gonna get too far ahead? And yell boom.
So Jenna, what did you say that your parents seen back in here?
Well, back in the 80s, when they were driving here along the trace, they got stopped in the road because what they seen was two large black panthers crossing the road in the trace. And back in early 2000s, I found out from somebody who had heard from a former worker here at LBL that back in the 80s they had made a pair of wolves, bear, cougar, panthers, and it was never disclosed to the public.
Wow.
Yeah, that could have been a big cat that we've seen. The eye
Yes.
shine of.
So you said
I
they
don't know.
released them in pairs?
Yes, they released them in pairs.
Well, then that means they were probably
And you
mating.
think from the 80s till now, if they're not going to remain in this one area, they're going to be coming because people have been seeing cougar and panther stuff in Frick County
Yeah.
and all around.
Has anybody seen any wolves?
That I had not heard.
I know they released wolves back out here.
Yeah, they released wolves. That was one of the things they released back in the 80s. And you think of 30 years of breeding
Yeah.
and how many they have, how many litters they have per year, and how many years they've been breeding.
Right.
And they're just spreading all over, and they just never disclosed it to the public, and then this worker came forward and told my neighbor about it.
Yeah.
So we was camping out up here, me and my brother, and we was up on. I ain't gonna tell the route number, but we was on the northern end of Land Between the Lakes. The first night went off, nothing bothered us. The second night I was camping, I was sleeping in a wall tent, and my legs were hanging off the cot, but I had them pushed against the wall tent. Something had come by that night and pushed my legs back into the tent. And I woke up and I was like, what the heck is that out there? And it woke my brother up. And he's like, what's going on? I was like, something just pushed my legs back in the tent. And I kicked the side of the tent and said, get out of here. And I didn't hear it walk off, but he did. But that third night when we was there, it was dark. We heard something moving around the tent. We was sitting outside like we are right now. We could hear something moving to the right and to the left. But the thing on the left side was getting closer. So I was like, let's go over and check that out. So we had our headlamps on, so we go out walking in the woods. We start walking we walked maybe 50 yards from the tent. And, we heard some kind of, it was like a fluttering, but it was like a growl, flutter growl. This flutter growl is what I call it. And I've heard it before out here. So we heard that, and I asked my brother, I was like, what is that? He's like, I don't know. Well, we heard something right shortly after that come just barreling through the woods and stopped probably 75 yards short of us. Well, my brother was like, oh, that's probably an armadillo or something running around. So we went back to the tent, and he was asleep in less than 5 minutes. When he went to sleep, I could hear those things moving around outside. And this was in November. So you know what spring peepers sound like, right,
Yeah.
Mark? Well, there was a spring peeper started peeping around the window. I was like, there ain't no way there's no frogs this late in November. I've just never heard them, and it was cold outside, cold. So if something started making a frog noise, I don't know what it was, but it was trying to mimic, I think, spring peeper sound, but then it started like making a dialect, but it sounded like a frog out the window. Yes, at the side window. Yep.
Like a frog language?
Like a frog, like it was trying to talk, but it was making a froggy type noise.
Yeah, so it wasn't a frog, in other
No,
words.
it was, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't no frog. So as the night carried on, I ended up going to sleep that night. Well, the wind started to pick up that night. And as the wind was blowing, I was hearing, and this is going to sound absolutely crazy. It's a lot of story I've never told you, Bart, but when the wind started to pick up, I was hearing music in the wind.
Really? What kind?
I don't know, like a real rough, like, just like a percussion instrument, but not a deep one, but like a shallow drum with a flute and some kind of rattle noise.
Really?
I know this sounds crazy, but it happened. So as that started to go on, I'll be honest with you, I started to lean on the Lord pretty heavy. I started praying.
Right.
I didn't know what was going to happen to us, Bart. I'm not going to lie, I was kind of scared, especially with my brother there. If my brother wasn't there, it wouldn't have concerned me as much as it did.
Yeah.
And as that music would play through the wind, I just started praying to God that He'd protect us and get us through this night. And I heard something wail out in the woods. It wailed like it was in pain. And I credit that to prayer.
Yeah.
I really do.
I think your prayer hurt it.
And it hurt it bad, and everything shut down, and I ended up going to sleep. I went to sleep for maybe 2 hours. We was getting up to go hunting that next morning. We're big bow hunters, so when we woke up, I went outside. My brother was making a cup of coffee, and I sat down there beside of him. I was like, dude, you sleep good last night? He's like, yeah. He said, all except for your music woke me up. I was like, I wasn't playing any music. I said, that was in the wind. And he said, what? And he just looks at me, and he don't ask no questions, but I could see his wheels turning in his mind that he knew something odd was going on. And we haven't camped back at I have not camped with my brother back at that site. He won't camp there no more. He won't say that, oh, I'm, you know, scared or anything, because, you know, but he just don't want to camp back up there, and I would never take him back up there to camp. I've solo camped up there since and got ran out of there, so.
But ran out by what?
Well, this happened at Halloween of 2022. I was up there camping, solo camping. I even carved a pumpkin. You know, I had the jack-o'-lantern thing going, and I was out here hunting, bow hunting, and I woke up. I thought something had got my tent. I'll be honest with you, when I woke up in a panic, I kind of woke up in a panic, and I was like, one of these things, and I'm gonna say a werewolf or a dog man had got in my tent, but it hadn't. There was a gray squirrel in my tent at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Really?
And now, granted, my tent don't completely enclose. Now, the bottoms is open, but when I went to bed, it was late, and it was probably 9 or 10 o'clock, and I've never seen a squirrel on the ground after dark, ever. I know you're a hunter. I've just never seen one.
Right, that's because they're all in their nests.
Yeah, they usually hit the nest right at dark because
Yeah.
they know things are coming out that could eat them. So that squirrel's in my tent. I run it out, and as soon as I run that squirrel out, I catch a green orb to my left. As I've opened my tent door and I ran it out, and it was just contouring along the wood line, moving on down. And when I seen that, just all of a sudden I got spooked, and the hair stood up on my back of my neck, and I heard a growl, and I was like, oh my gosh, something's bad's getting ready to happen. And it was off in the distance, but it was close. So I get back in my tent to get my light, and I go back outside, and I'm like, I holler, and I'm like, hey, if this is somebody playing a joke up here in my camp, that's probably not a good idea, because I am armed. Just making sure it wasn't somebody playing a joke. I mean, but
Yeah.
I'd already seen the orb, but I mean, just the growl part of it, I didn't want to really accept that was going on, I don't think. So when I done that, I didn't hear any response, but I could hear movement. The growl had come from my right side, but I heard movement to my left side. And I said, hey, if this is somebody playing around, just come out. I said, no big deal. I'm not mad, you know. I just want to make sure you don't get shot here tonight. And I heard a snarl, and the only thing I could credit the way the snarl sound was like a big cat snarl. You know, that rumble, and just that deep rumble.
Like a lion.
Yeah, like a lion or a tiger, big cat. And when I heard that, and that came from the right, something bluff charged me from the left. I'm not gonna lie about it. I discharged my firearm, and I retreated back to my truck. And I got my truck, and I always leave my keys in my truck. So I left that area and went to the North Check Station. And I went up there till daylight, good daylight. And I went back to my tent, and I was done. I packed my stuff up and I got out there. I just knew I'd push my luck a little bit that weekend, or that week of Halloween. I was just over it.
How long have you been hunting LBL?
Since 2003 or 4, somewhere around that area.
So about 20 years now.
Yeah.
You ever seen anything other than that, or any strange experiences? Here in
well,
the LBL.
yeah. I mean, I've seen this place is. If you spend enough time in this place, an orb is a given. You
Yeah.
will see orbs eventually.
Right.
And there's some other experiences I've had here, but I remember one, and this was recent. We had met up Taylor Bay, Bart. You remember that? It was
Yeah.
in January,
Yeah.
and we was heading back out, and everybody was leaving for the night. It was pretty chilly at night, and as I was driving out, I topped over a hill and I caught a white bird's the only way I can describe it because it had wings, but it was solid white. But when I seen the bird, its wingspan was at least 10, 12 foot. But as I looked at the bird, it looked like it had like haunches, like rabbit haunches, but not exactly that, but it looked like it had haunches, the only way I can describe it, and it had a rounded head, but I didn't see a beak on it. And I just caught a very brief glimpse of that thing. It was humongous, and I really don't know what to make out of that. I've never seen anything like that in my life, so.
No beak?
No beak. No beak.
Could you see the eyes?
I couldn't see the eyes or nothing. I just caught a quick profile of the head because it was kind of slightly quartering away from me as it was flying, but I caught the wings and the body. You know, at first I described it, I can't remember that mythological creature, but I come to find out that wasn't it. But the legs is what got me. I mean, it had defined like thighs like haunches, like
maybe like a lion's or
or a rabbit or anything's got a haunchy looking legs.
Dog.
Yeah.
So what about the feet? Did you see the feet?
I didn't get a chance to see the feet either. I think what mostly caught my attention was the legs. I was like, man, what's up with that?
Did it have front legs or just wings?
I didn't see the front legs. I didn't see them, so.
Yeah, we already asked him. I know when you first told me this story, I said griffin.
A griffin, yep.
So, but the griffin has a lion's head and mane and a lion's feet with claws.
Mm-hmm.
It also has front feet.
Yeah, I didn't.
Front legs.
I'm not saying there wasn't no front legs there, but I didn't see them.
Yeah.
But the way the rear end of that bird was, and I didn't see a tail. You know, I know I had to look up what a griffin was.
Yeah. That's the first thing came to my mind too, Jason, when you first told me the story.
Yeah. That's what I thought as well. After I got to looking around, because I couldn't wrap my mind around a bird having haunches, you know, like legs like that. So, I mean, I'll be honest with you, that's a mystery to me, and it being solid white, I mean, and that may have just been the way the light was reflecting off of it. I have no clue, but it looked solid white to me. It had maybe little dark patches here and there, but it was mainly white. So
yeah, didn't make any sound.
It didn't. Nope. But it was flying right above the tree line, though. It wasn't in the trees. It was right above the tree line. Because as I topped over this hill, you know how you can catch the top of the trees? That's where it was at. It was flying above the tree line. It was humongous. I mean, I'm guesstimating 12 feet wide, but it may have been greater than that, Bart.
Yeah, so when it was flying, did you ever see it flap its wings at all?
No, it was gliding.
Gliding.
Yeah, it was gliding the whole way. Yeah, I wished I could have slowed down, but I mean, it was just a brief, and I did slow down as I seen it, but as I was topping over the hill, you know, and it was moving as well, it just went out of sight pretty quick.
Never made any sound at all.
I never seen a sound from it, nor heard anything from it.
Ever heard any strange voices or anything from the woods, or just
Yeah,
music? You have heard voices?
yeah, I've heard my asses fits more toward the fae, the little folk, you know,
Yeah.
little people. But I have heard my deceased father call my name in the woods.
Really?
Yeah.
When did this happen?
This happened probably back in 2012 or 10ish, maybe 10 to 12 there.
Right, so a few years after you started hunting here.
Yeah, and he died back in 2003, so I heard him call my name, and then I heard my brother call. I have a deceased brother. He called my name out here one evening when I was walking. Well, it was night. I was walking out from hunting.
Yeah.
And I've heard that was more of the fae that does things like that try to
Right.
lure people back deeper in the woods.
Yes, definitely was not your deceased
No,
relatives.
no, but it's pretty cruel games they play there.
Yes.
Um,
Many people, you believe it or not, would go follow that voice, even though they knew that their brother or their dad was dead. They would still be compelled to go find out and see, try to find who's doing that or
right.
where it's coming from. So you did really well, brother.
Yeah, it was hard, especially with my brother. That was
Yeah.
pretty tough. That one hit home with me pretty hard
Sure.
away because he died suddenly. It was unexpected, and I was about half tempted to go find him, and then, I mean, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm kind of out of that mind frame now, but there about a year ago or so when we was out here camping, out here looking around, if he'd have called to me, I might have went to him. I just wanted to see, and I know that sounds
Right.
crazy, ridiculously crazy, but there's when that happens to you, Bart, there's an accentuated emotion that comes along with that. Is what I noticed. It really is a big draw to go. You want to go, and
Sure. And this whole thing, the whole subject is ridiculously crazy, bro.
it is.
So,
Yeah.
but it's none of us any more crazy or less crazy than the other. It's all so bizarre.
Yes. Yeah. This place is bizarre. It's very strange. And anything, I really do. When we come down here to look, I feel anything is possible here.
Right, me
Anything.
too. And we saw that tonight.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. A lot of activity going on down here.
Right. It's
It's only just begun for us, bro.
yes, sir. Yeah.
We got the whole future in front of us. We got new friends and family,
Absolutely.
new brothers and sisters.
Yep.
So we can form teams and go out and look for these things. And
Yep.
we'll probably have some luck, as you did. You and Gabby.
Mhm.
This was the last crazy thing that you saw down here, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, it was May. It was early May. We was down here. All of us was together. We had left to go to Boswell's Landing. A couple of Wolf brothers and sisters wanted to go down and check it out. They had some odd occurrences happen down there, and I had Elijah Henderson and Gabby in my vehicle. Gabby was riding in the back, and Elijah was riding up front in the passenger seat. So as we left, we just it wasn't right at the beginning, but we left the northern tip of the LBL to go to the very southern end of the LBL, which is about a 45-minute drive.
Yeah. Right.
It's a big place. So as we left, as we we started down, and I couldn't tell you what mile marker or whereabouts, but I started noticing a lot of snakes were in the road. You know, a lot of wildlife. I mean, there was deer on everywhere. They were on both sides of the road. We seen possums, we seen raccoons, just whatever you could dream up that's in the LBL as far as living out here that was around the road. And as we was traveling, I looked over to the right, and the moon was humongous, and it was really close, and it was orange. It was like a reddish orange color. And Elijah was like, "Did you see it?" I was like, "Yeah, man, that was beautiful." Of course, as we was going down, we got a little closer to Boswell's Landing. We seen a beaver in the road, and I stopped and let Elijah. He took some video of it. Well, we got down to Boswell's Landing. We was looking around, and everything seemed to be going, you know, relatively quiet.
Yeah.
So, all right. So as we was leaving Boswell's, I needed to get fuel, and Dover was just a short ride over the mountain. The other group left, and they headed back toward camp.
When you guys left,
Yeah.
okay, it was you and Elijah and Gabby, and the other group was my wife, Anna Kaywood Jones, and Michelle Johns.
Yep. Yep. Well, they went back to camp, which was up on the northern end. So we went down to Dover because I needed to get fuel. So I went down there and we got fuel. We grabbed a couple of snacks and we started heading back. And as we was coming back, we noticed the wildlife was still about the same. There was snakes in the road. There were deer, skunks, possums, whatever. So we get up about midway, and as I rounded a curve, and I've got a 50-inch light bar and a 20-inch light bar on my truck, so I can see when I've got both of them lit up. Well, I see this black object in the road, and I'm like, what in the world is that? It's inky black.
Yeah.
So I see it start to move, and it's like in a low crawl position, and as it's moving, it's like it's not bobbing any. It's like it's not no effort. It's like maybe it's even gliding across the road. I have no clue, but I did see its appendages moving like you would anything that's trying to move. What I noticed about this was when it was hunched up in the road, but as it started to move, the first thing that caught my eyes was the ears. It had pointed ears, kind of off to the side, short muzzle, and as my eyes went down, looking at this creature, it had rounded, not real broad shoulders, but it had broad shoulders. I could see a deltoid muscle. It was black hair, and it, like a human-like arm. I didn't see the paws or nothing because I was still following down. And as I watched it move, when I seen its legs looked like it had thighs. Like it didn't look like it had dog, like we was talking about earlier.
Like it had human thighs?
It looked like it had human thighs, and I did not see a tail. But what perplexed me about this encounter is how this thing moved. It was in a low crawl. I wouldn't quite call it a spider crawl like I've heard some people describe, but it was in a low crawl position. And as it was moving quick, but it wasn't. It was like it was gliding somewhat, or I really don't know how to describe it, and I still don't know how to describe it. And I wished I had a better explanation for the way it moved. It did not move natural. It was like it was a gliding.
So
motion.
It did not move its arms or legs?
It did move them, but as it was moving, if you move, as you pick your legs up, you're kind of bouncing. What I'm saying is, when this thing moved, It wasn't bouncing at all. It just kind of, in a fluid motion, went across the road.
Like it was maybe walking on its fingers and toes.
Maybe. I didn't see the hands or the feet. You know, my eyes got caught up with those ears mainly, and that short muzzle. That was my main focus. But as this creature moved along, you know, of course I noticed the arms and the legs as well. There's no doubt in my mind it's the beast, what they call the beast of the LBL.
Wow.
Whatever that may be, I'm gonna gather it's a dog man, but you know, from previous descriptions of credible witnesses, that it would be a dog man or a werewolf.
Right. Well, LBL is a unique place for sure.
Yeah, it is.
And like I say, we've only just begun to explore this. We've already had so much success in the last couple months.
Yes.
It's just been amazing. So,
Yeah.
now my wolf brother, I'm not going to say your name. I don't think you want me to do that, but you've had a lot of experiences in the last year, and you've seen several Inhumanoids.
Yeah.
Now tell me about the one, if you don't mind, that you saw while you were deer hunting in Fort Campbell.
Well,
When was this? When did this happen?
this was in sometime around November.
Of
I can't recall the exact date, Bart.
November 2022, 2023?
23.
23, last year.
Yep.
So it's been less than a year ago.
All right. Yep.
Okay, so what happened, brother?
Well, the night before, I was camping up here at Land Between the Lakes. I had been out into an area where Krista from Blondes and Booze had said that there's a dark entity, or maybe even a demonic entity,
Yeah.
that's hanging out in that area. So I went up there one night, just got bored.
This was a cemetery, right?
Yeah, it's a cemetery.
Okay.
And I hung out up there for a little while. It was quiet, so I decided to go back to camp, you know, because I had to get up real early for the next day. And I was going to Fort Campbell to hunt. You know, I already got signed in, checked into a spot. I'm not going to call the number where it was at out there, but
Right.
so I left that morning, got into Fort Campbell, and I was running a little bit late because I was out late that night before. And as I started walking in the woods, it was breaking right at daylight, but it was still kind of dingy, you know, dim in the woods. But I seen this black figure running through the woods, and when I seen it, what caught my attention was the horn. It had horns on its head, and it was real emaciated looking, like Gollum on Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
But it had some big horns on its head, and the horns come up off of its head and then went straight back off behind its head, you
Right.
know.
So they come off from the side of its head?
Yep, and come straight back, like I don't know how to describe it, but they didn't, you know, they wasn't like a typical horn. They just
Right.
come straight up off the head and then bent and went straight back. And
Wow. It was running through the woods?
yep, it was like it was trying to get away or run away from me. I really don't know what to make of that, Bart. You know, I was in a pretty bad area the night before, and something might have followed me out of that cemetery, or
Right, like a demonic attachment?
maybe, yeah, or some kind of demon that might have followed me, or maybe just manifested in the woods.
Now, when this thing was running, could you hear it running through
Yep.
the woods?
It was making an audible noise through the leaves. You know, in November, you know how crunchy and dry
Yeah.
the leaves are.
Right.
Yep, I could hear it running, and all I could see was a black shape Real thin, not real tall, maybe 4 foot or so tall.
Right.
I couldn't really tell much about its hands or its legs. I just knew it was really thin, like the Golem, kind of built like the Golem off Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Except for the horns, you know, the horns were. I mean, it was very noticeable. Its horns were big, you know. So, like I said, I don't really know what that was. You know, it may have been some kind of cryptid or inhumanoid.
Definitely not a cryptid, brother. So, when you saw this thing, how did it make you feel? Did it make you feel frightened or?
Yeah, I was startled, and I didn't. I backed out of there and waited for daylight. I really didn't catch any huge emotions off of it. I just knew it was. I mean, it was frightening looking, and the good thing was it was going away from me, you know. So it had some kind of, you know, it wasn't coming at me.
Right.
So.
Didn't really scare you too much.
No, it scared me, but it didn't, you know, it didn't just, if it was chased after me, it'd have been a different story.
Right.
But, I did go out of that area, but I did go back into that area, and I went back over there where that thing was running to try to find some kind of track. I did go look for tracks, and either I was in the wrong area or it didn't leave any tracks. I have no clue, but I couldn't catch any tracks at all from this thing.
Wow.
I have no explanation for it as well.
So what do you feel it might be demonic in nature?
It may have been a demon. I've hunted Fort Campbell as long as I've hunted the LBL, and I've never seen anything, not even an orb. I've never seen anything in Fort Campbell ever. Not like here. You know, orbs are pretty common, and I hate to sound that way, but they are. You know, if you spend enough time in this area, you will see orbs.
Yes, that's true.
Different colors, different sizes, but you will see them eventually. So, but Fort Campbell, I have never seen anything out of the ordinary there, except for that. So.
Any experience with UFOs other than orbs?
I did see UFO. I've seen 2 in my lifetime that I could confirm was really UFO, what people would typically call a UFO or a UAP.
Yeah, where did this happen?
One was in Virginia. This was in 2006, and you know, I know this is odd, but it was during the colder part of the year. It wasn't in the summer. I seen a UFO one night when I was working on duty, and I seen it out in the field. It was maybe probably a good 100 yards away, and it wasn't humongous, and it was the classic saucer shape. It did have lights around it, but it was hovering over a field, maybe like I don't know how to, you know, I'm just speculating, Bart, when I tell you this, but you know, It looked like it may have been scanning or looking for something in that field, because it had a light that was illuminating to a certain point of the field. It wasn't like you lit up a football field or something, but there was a direction of light in that field. And as it was moving around in that field, it was rotating as well. So it was still it was rotating. Classic saucer-shaped UFO that a lot of folks has described.
What color was it, bro?
I couldn't really tell the color, but if I had, It was kind of darked out other than the lights that was on the bottom. As far as it was just black looking to me, but all the lights were focused on the bottom of the craft. There were no lights on top of it at all, and it was out in the middle of a field. It was just dark looking to me, you know. It just blended in with the dark, you know. That was kind of a rural area. I seen that in Appalachia, Virginia. The second UFO I seen was in 2020, and I seen it in Lexington, Kentucky, and it was the cigar. It was silver, the cigar-shaped UFOs people describe. But as I was looking at this UFO, I pointed to my wife and I was like, "Do you see that?" Well, as I said that, this UFO just started going into some kind of cloaking. It just started to disappear from the front and went all the way to the back. It just disappeared into the clouds.
Okay, let me ask you this real quick, brother. Got 4% battery.
Right.
Ever lived in a haunted house?
I have.
Tell us a little bit about that till the tape runs out.
Okay. I lived in, well, I've had a few experiences with haunted things now. I'll tell you a unique story. I'd bought a TV one time from an auction house. And I didn't have to buy it. Nobody bought the TV, and it was an older model TV. And the owners, I dropped by there. I stopped in to check on them as my shift, you know, through my shift work. They was like, "You want this TV?" It had a DVD player on it. I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it." It was a smaller TV. I get that thing home and I put it in my bedroom, and I was laying there one night and I was just getting ready to fall asleep, and that TV would make it would distort voices. Like right as you were going to sleep, it would distort voices, and they sound demonic sounding. It would it would distort the voices right as you were sleeping, and then like you'd be laying in bed, and I'd lived in this place for probably 4 or 5 years. So you'd be laying in bed, you could hear somebody walking in the hallways. I heard one of the doors open in the house one night when I was laying in bed, but I always done it when you were getting ready to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Right as you were falling asleep, you know, in between awake or sleep. So I just got to thinking, I was like, they might be something attached to this TV. I don't know why that thought come to my mind, but I had no problems before that. So I took the TV and I threw it away. I just threw it in the garbage just to get rid of it. But and when I done that, the problems disappeared as well.